Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a Friday show. Tonight, we have new camera equipment to make sure that everything runs smoothly compared to last week, where smooth is not how I would have summed it up. But anyway, tonight's project, I have my moon buggy in front of me, which is in pretty good shape at the current moment, but what we're going to be working on is somewhat related, which is this my new little bender setup here. I've been trying to get this finalized a little bit, and I think I'm going to be happy with it. We got to finish assemble it. I've only kind of like mocked the parts up, but if all goes well tonight, barring maybe a couple of little differences, I think that I could have this thing available very soon and at a much better price than we have typically seen benders. So that's the plan. This will be a kind of like the build along, a combo send, cut, send in 3D printing thing. But the big difference with what I'm going for here, we'll get into all that in a minute. Check in where you're watching from, what you have in front of you on a Friday night. I'm gonna disassemble this a little bit further because I've got some like kind of mock-up hardware in here. I'm not gonna have all of the right hardware tonight regardless, so we'll make do. But anyway, so yes, but the plan is that I could have this bender ready to go possibly this weekend, if not Minnesota and a hookah. So let me get this fully apart so that I can show you more closely the theory behind my silly idea here. But I'm glad it's the weekend as well. It was a long week of just regular, currently a Michelob and lasagna. I guess those go together. So anyway, yes, the bender. The bender is, it's one of those things, like probably one of the more common questions that I got in things like, hey, what bender is that? What bender are you using? Where can I get it? And the question was always like, well, the one I'm using isn't available anymore. It's made by a company that goes by a different name now, and they're super hard to get, and their shipping times are terrible. So I never had a good answer. There was one that was available on Etsy, but it used all FDM parts. And I feel like there was, there's some issues with that. I feel like this solves those issues for me, at least. There is more that I'd like to add, but I think that as benders go, this one's going to get the job done for the most people for the least amount of money. But Pilot Mound, Iowa. I need this bender. Pilot Mound. I don't know Pilot Mound. I know Mound City, but I don't know Pilot Mound. Anyway, so the basis, we've got the upright here. Now the upright isn't anything all that special. That's pretty much a standard thing. But the die in the center, all of that part, that's where usually you had to either find machined parts or you only had 3D printed. And this is kind of like a weird mix and match. Now, I made one mistake while I was doing the ordering, and I forgot to order one of these pieces in aluminum. So I've got a 3D printed version of it in hand, but this will also be aluminum. So show you guys a little bit of this before. Now, the final one, I'll put up a full video on like how it all gets assembled and whatnot. But what we have is these, there's this piece, which will be aluminum, and then this piece, which has got like this shape to it with these, ridges and keys, those ridges anyway. So those two pieces are going to kind of go on top of each other, side by side. So, and what that does is it just gives you this width in thickness, and then you have the ridged design there. Then you'll have this thin portion, and you can see on the back side there the ridges that it has. And what those will do is those are going to key into that laser cut aluminum part. So when it all goes together, I'll be able to show you this here. It'll fit like this. And they interact with each other to keep everything in place. The other part sits right behind it, and there'll be alignment holes to keep everything set. Now that gives you the actual cup shape, but that's not really enough to retain. So it's got these larger outside parts, and those will sandwich all of this together. So we're going to get all of that. But what I do need to do tonight is that how I've prototyped this, there's some parts that I need to get tapped, or I need to tap. So I brought my drill with a tap and some tapping fluid in. I'm going to get all the way through this thing tonight and be in good shape. So I'm going to tap one of these real quick. And the other one I do need to drill through to the full diameter of an M3 screw. So, what size will this accommodate as designed? This is made for 3/16 inch tubing. That is 3/16 is what I use here, and then I'm using the radius that I use to design to in all of my builds, which is about a 1/2 inch radius of bend. So that's what I designed to. So that's what I designed my bender to. So I'm gonna put now and do it the easy way. So put a little bit of tapping compound. There we go. Quick little job. Where does the computational laser mount? So I've got a couple of plans for things like accessories that would go along with, you know, things from the builds. And that's something that I'm going to continue to try and develop, but try and make this something that will work well for the most people as cheap as possible. Because that's always been benders have always seemed to be one of those things in cage building where decent ones are always really expensive. Josh, will this mount to the tactile reticle system? You know what? I think if we come up with a very we can come up with a mount to make that happen. Tammy, come back. Welcome to the channel member. Speaking of channel members, thank you first of all, Tammy. Much appreciated. Sorry, distracted. We hit 250, which means that I'm doing a Sunday members live stream because I said I would at 250. Okay. Quick cleanup on burrs. Just unnecessary, but we're all distracted. Thanks. Josh is rated on 88 now. Might actually get to run trailing. You know, I've seen like the fact that we had sprinkles today at work. Just like, what is going on? This is wild. We never get this down here at this time of year. Okay. Actually, this one will not matter the direction now, but that there. Tapped one at the top. Let's grab some hardware. I already have hardware out. Let's see. Saw a post from Northwest Scale Designs about relaunching their tube bender. I think yours will slow down. I mean, this is going to be meant to be just super affordable. Like that will be the main goal of this. Obviously, I want people to want to build the chassis and things like that. So if there's the simplest possible solution that I can offer for why is that not? Then that's what I would like to do. Okay. There we go. That was fun. Oh, does that one need to be drilled through? No. Maybe. I think I did have that one. I did. A little on the small side. Drilling with something in the hand, I'm sure, makes people cringe. It's fine. It's foxy. Any special build for PLBTF? It's a great question. Not sure yet, because I'm also going to try and get a pro mod done for Scale Hero. So that's something I'm trying to plan on or make a plan for. There we go. There is a lot of little parts, so I am fiddling. Get it loose. OSHA approved. That's no kidding, Perry G. All of this is very much fully OSHA approved. We know you're a professional. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've proven that to the contrary many times. That's better. Nice and clamped down. Plenty pleased with that result. Are we going to see blood tonight? There's a chance, especially, you get all excited, you get in a bit of a hurry, you do dumb things. Does the VRD carbon kit come with a 52 or a 56 spur? Comes with a 56 spur. They were initially going to come with a 52. They ended up coming with 50 and then 56, and then we all just liked it, so we left 56, and that's how they will all continue to come. So, all right. So this is the assembled die setup. See the radius in there. So basically, the 3D printed part is just for shape of the tube. It's pretty thin, so you don't have to worry about it. You'll just print it 100% infill out of durable material, as durable as you have, or just replace them whenever. But it should allow for, all of the strength will all come from laser cut aluminum parts, even like the little tab that sticks out there where the loop will go. Those will you know, right now one side of it is 3D printed, but in the end, it will all be aluminum. So nice and strong. Or if I decide to, I could always change the material to something different. Now, we have the handle arms, and these are going to go on each side, and I need to tap one of these as well. This is thicker. It'd probably be a good idea to get, since I got to drill one side as well, like I should probably put these in something that would hold it more secure, but we all know what's actually going to happen. Okay. So that one's drilled, or that one's tapped. This one will drill. And I'll use some cutting fluid on it just so that it drills a little bit nicer. So easy. Will there be blood tonight? I don't know about that. Come on. What I can't 100% decide yet is if I want to leave everything out of aluminum or if I want to go to like stainless. Once I get it together all the way, I think I'll be able to make that decision. Couple more holes to clean up quickly. I also have some holes tonight that I need to countersink. So I've grabbed a bit for that. Need to get another drill. I do. I should get another. You're not wrong there. Right. Good. So I'm going to just put that through there for now so that I can be sure everything's lined up. Make sure I'm not wedging any. Right. Another piece of 3mm hardware. Let's check the length. That'll do. Yeah. And that gives me a nice clamp down on that thing. Going to make that jig perfect. Or that jig, whatever you would call this thing. Die. So this screw here on the bottom goes through and it's threaded into this arm now to right there. So that clamps all the plates together here. We put the screw up on the top, so that's all clamped together. And now that is nice and solid. So that's a big part of it. Now we've got the uprights. The uprights pretty much just go on each side of this. Currently, I've just got a 30mm set screw in there. It's an M4 set screw. So, and I've got some M4 serrated nuts, but ideally I'll get some proper hardware for that. And we'll go from there. Sorry, what is going on? Now, the next part. So you have your bender here, and this does this. Oh, I need to turn up. Oh, I'll adjust my F stop. Make it a little more clear to see. But so you've got this part, and underneath of it, a tube will ride on this little part. I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like this guy here. And it's got the profile there. Now in the center of this one also, I've designed it to use another little piece of laser cut aluminum. So that will key in, which I want to tap this real quick too. I don't think that it's needed to tap it, but I added it to the design just in case. Follow, is that the right word? The follower? I can never remember. I always called them the wrong thing. Clean up all the holes. Very nice. So it's got, like I said, it's got that little extra hole there. And there's a hole in the 3D print as well. And if you just get these all lined up, they pretty much fall into place together. But that'll give you that aluminum in the middle of it. Again, just helps support it, gives it a bunch of strength. You're not relying on the 3D print in that, compressive direction. So I need a flathead screw. Eight or 10 millimeter long. Again, really doesn't feel like it's needed, but I designed it there, and it's a little piece of material. I had it halfway assembled previously without that. So now this part will just go in between the two uprights. All right. So, what is your fancy deburring tool called? I think it's made by Noga, Noga. I don't know what they call it, but you just put it in there, you can super fast. I don't know. There's probably a super easy name for them. There's a bunch of bits. There's like bits with just a curve, a straight edge. They still have that curve, but it gets you in there and you can really do a nice little wrap around a larger hole. This is just great for holes that like size we often use. So anyway, now you can see that lower part and the die make the circle there. And as this goes around, that just keeps everything pressed up against the die so the tube can't fall away. Super simple. That's the main guts. From there, we got a couple of like simple things. I made a simple handle that just slides on like that. Overkill, most likely. I need to tap one side of these. Okay. Love the handle. So now this will just slide on there. Grab some more hardware. Oh, I made that tapping thickness, so that means I still have to drill the other side. Can I get a tie bender? I mean, you could. As long as, so it would be very dependent on the material thicknesses all being available in the same. Or I could just do like a couple of them in the same. And I don't hate the idea at all, Ben. Like, just because. Blue it, do some titanium anodizing. Go. Make sure we got all the oil off. The currently the handle and these parts, they're just printed out of PLA. That's not what I would use in the end, but for today, what I used. The glass fiber ABS is my goal, the material that I plan to use. I've got it here. I just haven't loaded it up. Too short. There we go. Perfect. Nice and secure. Let's see. That almost looks like the small hand bender I use for copper. Oh, yeah, most definitely. So make that easy. Now, one of the last, well, there's two parts left. One is very important. One is not as important. It's mainly just for fun. So first, we've got, well, it's these plates here. So 2 plates, laser cut, and then a 3D printed spacer. This is not needed in this way, but it's the way that I've been using my other one, and I like it a lot. So I was like, I'm just going to do that. So this whole assembly like this is going to go in here. And it is a little bit overcomplicated for the sake of it. Oh, I got to tap more holes. But I'll show you why I chose it in a second. Let's see. Hold, please. Okay. Josh, throw me a 40 millimeter skid screw. I need one. I can't find one. I know what you mean. Don't you hate that? That one size you need, especially when they're the long ones, you couldn't just cut something down. But so now we're going to take those long ones, put them back, or long ones, whatever you call it. These plates. Through there. I think I need a little bit longer up top. Might have to use button head or cap heads. A little bit of a, keep forgetting if I tap one side, I have to drill the other. How many times am I going to do? Well, not many times left. I don't think I have any left. Okay. That should actually be how it's done. Does that handle at that length give you enough leverage? Oh, for sure. These tubes are so much easier to bend than it really seems like. I bet that I'm not using much more than that on any of mine. And I wanted to keep these arms fairly short so that I didn't have to, like, if I can keep the parts smaller. I have plenty of tubing here too, so I can go grab some of that in a little bit. Okay, getting there. Chris with a K. Thank you very much. I'm about ready to put my X1C order in. First printer, do you recommend any different nozzle sizes for RC use? Nope. I'm running the day one nozzle my X1C came with. I haven't had to change it. It hasn't worn out. It's just running. So you could get a spare if you want a spare. I don't think that I have a spare. I really haven't needed it. I've had one jam. And that's about all. So overall, it's just been a champ. You know, once I get 2 of these lined up, everything else should pretty much fall into place. There we go. Yep. And then I made sure that there was way more screws than needed. Last one in that part of it. All right, so I put these screws in, and those go all the way through and then thread in on that back side. These are too long. These are 25s, 22s would be, I think, perfect. But the purpose of this is that it's got a hard stop there. So you can just drop this in your vise and clamp onto it here, and that'll give you just that rest point. So it won't drop, it'll only go that far. It's the same way I have my other one set up. I really like that. So it's got 3 more holes here. And the idea for that is to countersink the aluminum and then use flathead screws so that when you're clamping it, it's still clamping on that flat face. I just haven't done it yet. That piece you just put on can be held with a bench vise. Yeah, there you go. That's the exact purpose, because that's how I hold mine. So that's where it's meant to be clamped. Kind of looks like looks a lot like a shifter if it's up there, but yeah. I just printed ABS glass fiber on a 0.4 nozzle with 0 issues. Yeah, that's where do I pre-order? I'm in. I think that after I get the last little, I might make a tweak or 2. I'm not sure. So like, I made some of these parts so you had to drill them, and some so you had to tap. I'm gonna have to leave it so you have to tap, I guess. But I might make just 2 separate parts so that one is drilled or one's already to the size, and then Haven't decided that yet. I guess that's a good question. It's like if you guys were trying to do this, and if it would keep it cheaper if the parts were the same, because send cut send will, if there's 2 parts identical in your order, it's cheaper for your order. So would you rather have it cheaper, or would you rather have more things done for you? Send cut send would tap if you want. It gets kind of expensive. And for how easy it is to tap, I feel, yeah. A few holes through the bottom would be nice so that it could be mounted to the side of a table also. I wonder. Might be able to come up with a solution for that as well without having to do a bent plate. I don't know. What about just use nuts on the backside? You could always just use nuts. I could, have these all the way through, and then you could just put M3 nuts on there, and you'd be fine. You'd be just as fine. But there's still a lot of other. I mean, I guess you could put nuts there. Technically, you could have a nut. That one's pretty tight. Maybe. I mean, I guess you could, though. I don't know. You might not be able to use a lock nut. I mean, it could just increase the distance and give you a spacer, or have you print a spacer. I mean, lock nuts are sure easy. I don't know. So the last part of it is, oh, here they are. So I'm missing the center rocker piece, Dan says. What is center rocker? Oh, you're missing that file, Dan? So I ordered 2 of these to prototype, and I gave one to Dan. Dan, I'll send you the file if you don't have it. So the last part is right here on this part, there's a little loop that goes through. Most of the time, those are 3D printed. I'm doing it out of flat stock aluminum, and then I'm doing a 3D printed jig for you to bend it over so that you get the right portion, or so that you get the right shape, right? That's how you say it. But that way, because again, this little loop, when that is done out of FDM 3D printing especially, it's just questionable. You can have it out of aluminum, it should last you forever. So L brackets on the side of the bench. Yeah, I think that they're, with some of these holes, maybe that would be easy as well. Just trying to keep this thing is wildly inexpensive as possible. So like, if you could have everything, so send cut send for free shipping, it's $39. So like, I want it just right there. If I can, I'll include as much as I can if I can get it. If I can get it to just $39, because like if it's a little less than that, I might as well just add a few more features until it gets to that $39. But that's going to be like goal, $39. So why not? I'm few little details, but overall, I'm already like perfectly happy, perfectly pleased with this. I do need to. I haven't made the jig to bend this yet. So I can either do that, or I can just grab some 3/16 material from in there and bend it over there. I have made some extras just in case. So waiting for the bend. Wait, I have my panel in cart waiting to add a bender. I could have this ready very soon. There is like a short approval process with Send Cut Send to get everything to be a product so that it can be ordered. But I'm hoping that I could get that knocked out very quickly. So fire up Fusion. You know what? We don't have a huge crowd tonight anyway, and this will take mere moments to get accomplished. The bamboo will knock it out in no time. Clean up some of my debris. All of these shavings everywhere. Really should have emptied that trash since it was trash day. Sign in, hold please. Me. But, oh, I don't, it's already got it saved. Let's say, let me move this down here so y'all can't see me do my password. And continue. All right, well, this fires up for a moment. This won't take us, but 6 minutes. Give or take. Come on, there you go. That Phoenix gifted 1 membership. Look at that. Look at Phoenix go. Nice. David Ferris got it too. Congratulations, David. Do a RTR and a kit. So the nice thing about Send Cut Send is I don't have to touch any of it. It just is a thing. Even though the password is Matt Rule 69. So, oh God, I was gifted one for SGG as well. David Ferris is on a roll. So I'm gonna pop up Fusion here, and let me go to the Bender. Make sure you guys don't see all the rest of my files. Just a Moxon vice table set. Oh, God, I know exactly the ones that have the moving vice style, right? All right. So what we got going on here? Thank you, Kyle Wolf. Is there a clear line of sight to see where the bend will start? I will post up the video of exactly how I do that for mine. I have mine. I gauge everything off of the leading edge of the loop. And it, for me, I'm dead repeatable with it, like within a 0.5 millimeter. So I feel super confident with that. I have a known distance that I use. And like once I'll do a full release of this, like a video and everything, so everybody can see exactly what I use it for, or how I use it. So let's go to share that. So here is my Bender design, the design file. You can see the loop. So we're going to isolate that little guy. And now I'm just going to do, I have like perspective on. It's like, why does this look so weird? Camera. There we go. Oof. That was very odd. But how do I make people hate this less? Does that make you hate it less to watch CAD? We'll see. If it's just smaller, maybe people won't hate it so much. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do from that side. I'm just going to project the whole object. I'll extend it down this way over. This does not have to be pretty or anything. 15's fine. Do do symmetric. 15. We'll make it plenty big. I'm going to punch a hole through it. Just because it's not down the center, that drives me nuts. Whatever. It's fine, actually. I was going to get... This doesn't matter in the slightest. It's just a visual. So really, that's kind of all I need. It's just a very simple block. To bend over. Jig. All right. That's all you had to watch. Do you set it up so we can screw one side down? I kind of thought about that initially, but I think I'm just going to use a screw to kind of hold it in place, because if I screw like all the way through, yeah, well, I guess I could take and do, let's see, if I do, actually, if I just do a chamfer and I go 1.7 millimeters like that, I can put a flathead screw through it and put a nut on the backside. That way it doesn't actually interfere with it. And then I also want to take this and make sure it doesn't interfere more, just because it's going to bend over. Why do I keep saying bend over? Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll export that as a mesh one more time. Jig. Replace it. Make a die for the depressant so you can have center of holes. I don't understand what you're saying there. Would be in the way of bending it over. I'm saying I'm going to bolt the one side. Or did I do it from the wrong side when I just did that? Oh, well, I kind of did with what I was saying. So that last, we're going to undo this one that way. So I'll put it on this side first and put a nut on the back. And then it will bend over and around to the other side. And then this won't be in the way. It'll be flush. So that, oh, sorry. Counter said screw will go in. It'll be stuck, or it'll be on this side. That's where I'll start. And then it will bend from that side around to the other. If that makes any sense. Get the bamboo fired up. I could add some strength to this jig by like beefing it up to the sides of it, like, which may be the way to go. If I take and I beef that up, maybe if this doesn't work, we'll do that route. So, hey, 949 Designs gifted 5 memberships. Looks like Rudy Williams, Scale Lake Off-Road, El Chapo, Squirrel Nuts RC, Dirt Nap RC, all got memberships. Very, very nice. Thank you very much, 949. I like that when people get to see the membership stuff, because there's a lot of fun stuff. All right, I'm just loading this into Bamboo Studio. I'm going to print it laying on the side to try and give it the most strength in that way. And what do I have this set up for? PLA carbon. Yeah, that'll work just fine. We're going to send that off to print. I'm going to put a raft under it just because. Video's frozen. Sure, it wasn't just my face. Won't you have to unbind it to get the center screw out? I think I should be able to put my 2mm driver through the center and take the nut off the other side. Ooh, but then yeah, like it would technically lock it into place. Probably be able to, since it's just aluminum, probably be able to get it off there. It's a good point. We're gonna see. Actually, we're gonna see if why am I not connected to my printer in here right now? That's weird. Gotta go back. Hold please, because printer. Make sure that my device for some reason I'm not connected on this computer right now, which I don't normally print from in here, so that's probably why. And it's probably just been. Let me get my pin real quick. How do I? Damn it. I have my A1 Mini, but I should be logged in, right? Am I not? That's why I got logged out. No. Oh, bless it. See which there we go. Not bad. Sometimes this takes. Anyone catch that password? You got time for that, Mike J? There we go. And now we're good to go. So now we can have ourselves a solid 26 minutes. Is that right? That seems way longer. Oh, I do have it set at 100. That's fine. It'll be fine. Try Chief 6969. Hey, look, Josh has a brain bucket on it. I do. That's the trike one. It's got the glasses built in. $949. No kidding. It was the capture card, which was my thought, was that it was going to be the capture card. So I got it replaced. I didn't replace the cable because I talked about it on Wednesday, but I ordered a nice cable and then I did not look at the length, and it turned out to be very, very, very short. I'm like, well, that's not going to work. So we're not using that one for now. Oh, I did see that. A bit short. I still hate the crap. Oh, I was so mad at the Sony stuff. Oh, mad. Didn't turn out to be the issue, so I'll give Matt that. But once we get this done, that should be our very last step. Now, is this, I will need, okay, that's done for a clearance hole. I do not have to drill that. Off to work, gonna finish watching while I get paid. I'm here for it. We're gonna get this cleaned up on these holes quickly. The other thing I need to do is go grab some tubing. I can start bending up some tubing. We lost power for a few hours this morning due to garbage truck backing into the utility pole. I was talking to my parents today on the way home, and they got hit with some wild storms up in Nebraska earlier this week. What's the best way to bend panels? Great question. I've got a very primitive break, so I like that. Another easy way is to just put them on the table. I got panels. Did I not bring them in? I don't know if I did. Oh, yeah. So if you can get them on the edge of your table, and then just get like a rigid piece of material on top of them and just C-clamp that down, you should be able to just give them that little bend, and it'll give you a pretty sharp edge. If you can get them clamped down like that and use something like some duckbill pliers, to be able to grab the whole thing. The problem is that usually you're going deeper than these will allow, and they'll kind of like lock up a little bit on you. But if you can combine that and just make yourself like a homemade break in that way, that's an easy way. But so, random question, did your dad make his prosthetic finger, and how did it turn out? You know what, I think that he did at one point, and then I think he just kind of got over it. But I don't know it's his trigger finger, which is very important to him. So I'm not exactly sure what method if he's just changed what is now his trigger finger. Because my dad is a crossbow hunting son of a gun. Loves him a crossbow. Who heard the song at the end of the Home Sausage release video for the new servo? I have not seen his latest video. I'll probably need to go back. Is the radius on your bender tighter than the Oakenshield? It's very similar. It's very similar. That's the one I have been using for a long time, is the Oakenshield. And basically, this is kind of just trying to go through and fix any of the things that I feel like are the drawbacks of that, especially with Shapeways not being a thing anymore, and so many people having printers at home. If I could just incorporate a stronger design with stuff that you could print at home and not have to rely on those super, well, for one, they were expensive. Two, they were way too hard to get. Then I feel like that's the benefit of this. So if they would have been easy to get and, so, yeah, that's kind of the deal. Time to relax and try this GMO jungle cake. GMO jungle cake. I've never heard of this. Hey Josh, have you started PBTF build videos yet? Nope. I don't know if I'll have a specific build for that or not. I doubt it. I doubt that I will. I'll be having moon buggies. I'll be moon buggying it up. So the second moon buggy is here. So this is the one for the long form video. I've got the Maxxis Treps on there. And yeah, panels, excuse me. Panels are ready to go on. I'm going to tear this thing down tonight on this stream. My plan is so that I can paint the chassis tomorrow morning. Your site is empty. Nothing for sale? No, I currently don't have any trucks for sale. Reuse a truck, say it ain't so. But yeah, that for sale section is just for like trucks and stuff. Most of the stuff that I sell on my site is just digital files. So what color are you using? That is a question of the day and something that I could probably use some help with from you guys. So one tire is backwards. That is 100% correct. And that was because I started putting them together and I had this tire over here and I only had 2 of the hubs that I wanted and I put them on. They were both, I was like, damn it. And then as I kept going with, anyway, I knew it as soon as I did it. It's fine. But the panels for this are going to be like a dark blue, red, and yellow. 2.2 treps. They are 1.9 treps with mounted on 2.2s. So short answer, Josh is special. I'll fix it tonight even. But since the panels that I've got are that printed wrap, I have to figure out what to do for the chassis. And I was initially just going to, I don't think that I'll be able to do the same blue that the panel will primarily be. So I feel like I need to go with a silver or a black again. I already did black on the first one, so I feel like maybe silver of some sort. I don't know. Yeah. Just got my Yes welder in today. Excited to start practicing with it. Thanks for the recommendation. Hey, glad that you dove in. Purple. I mean, purple it's like the blue is kind of close to purple. Gunmetal gray would look good. And it's such like my go-to color for chassis typically. Gunmetal gray metallic wheel paint is just trade you those black BTAs for clear. Ben, I got more black BTA mounts in yesterday. So they will be ready to go. Crinkle finish. I'm always so concerned about how the crinkle looks at scale on this. I don't know. So, how many week for bronze 2.2 BBW? I can't tell you that. Cerakote, I want this done tomorrow morning. Steel it gray for the chassis. I do have steel it. But the metallic wheel paint, it looks good. White chassis, teal, orange panels. Panels are already done. They are not teal and orange. They are red and blue and yellow. Modeled after a very popular design. So that's set. Would cost $100 to paint that chassis with steel. Steel is not cheap. I totally agree. And it takes so long to dry. I can use the wheel paint and be done in no time. Sour Patch, nope. Sour Patch is more like yellow and green and red. Stuff is great, but it ain't cheap. So, anyway. We'll get to that here in a little bit. I can't do too much work on that on the live stream because that thing is start to finish done on video for the most part. And I still have a lot of editing left to do, but it's going really well. Yank out the Flex Seal. No! I will never be able to use Flex Seal unironically. Like I'm going to be that guy. You're not even the first one, Taylor. Just keep everything raw. Wheels, panels, cage. Oof. Oof. I hate I missed building a moon buggy. Everything's up and available now, and there's a great Facebook page. Tons of people are diving in. Not Red Bull. Dang it. So I had some logo work done. Let me see if I can pull up the email for you quickly. Give you a quick look since somebody guessed it. There it is. I don't know that I want to get too close for you, but because there's some details in there that you can't see. But it's going to be good. I like it. I don't think anyone can use Flex Seal unironically. Every time I pick a can up, I scream, I sawed this boat in half. Zoom. Enhance. I think we're looking okay in it. I noticed on the front of the bed there was a mess up, but that's just because I didn't clean off the string from last time. I noticed. But I think that this is going to be great success. I'm very excited. I'm going to go grab some tubing here in a little bit after we get the loop made. Gray silver chassis, maybe some areas of tube with a touch of red. Oh, that sounds like way more paint work than I'm capable of. If I don't have a 3D printer to print the pieces needed for the tube bender, yeah, that's a thing. I don't know for sure, but maybe it's something I can get figured out. Have you used your new airbrush setup yet? I have not. I've not plugged it in or bought paint still. I don't want to hear about it. I'm going to use it. I'm going to paint something, and it's going to be glorious. Countersink all the way with that thing. Not sure if that's quite deep enough yet or not. Yeah, close enough. Not typically the method I would consider using, but I think I grabbed a bit just for this today before I left the shop, and so many chips. Needs a scale Red Bull can on the roof. Like, oh my God. Great idea. Yeah, the old mini. That's a fantastic idea. I may have to see if I can execute that. So my plan with these these lower ones here was not to thread all the way through. It was just to thread into the 3D printed portion. Perfect. So those are little flathead screws countersunk down in there. So you can still put it in your bench vise and it'll clamp onto that whole thing. How's the Cheetos? They're doing quite well. I'm surprised they're not in here, actually. They were very vocal when I got home, as would be expected with them. There was a RAV4 in Sacramento, but the girls were still cute. Yeah, they did. They knew who they were hiring when they staffed those particular vehicles. What happened to the tactical transmitter bits? It is still here. It is still as dumb as it ever was. But this is, the predecessor to the Spectrum IXR flashlight. The ratchet, the magnetically attached ratchet with tool bits, pick rail, Red Bull holder, chapstick. Well, it still has the, I left everything in here. Oh, it looks like I needed a battery at some point. Yeah. The most ridiculous radio. Gotta have chapstick. Careful, you're gonna get head on it from Spectrum. I never saw that. That's cool. It needs lockdown. Yeah, that was a 3D scanning video where I made the tactical radio. This is more work than this thing's usually supposed to do. Only if it's Dr. Pepper chapstick. Is that a thing? I remember growing up, and I can't remember who had it, but someone always had the cherry chapstick. Oh, the worst. There is black original chapstick. That's all that's needed. You know, they make a quarter drive chain. I know. I literally got one before I left the shop, and I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. Hold on. I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. Like, I specifically got a brand new one out of the tool cabinet. No idea. No idea what happened. Because trust me, I'm over this as well. Not a fan. No, thank you. The robot truck looks more complete than before. That's because that's a new robot truck. The other robot truck is up there, and then the other one is right here. There's 3 in here now. Gonna countersink that hand in a minute. And I know. Like hot tub time machine, just waiting for it to happen. Sorry, but what tube bender? My tube bender. That's what we are assembling tonight. This is my first prototype of it. And as long as all goes well, hopefully it will be one of the cheaper benders available. Because listen, I don't like to... Tools is always an area where I'm, I don't know. Spending money is not my... Nicole will find it when she washes your work clothes. It's probably sitting on the seat of my Jeep right now. I'm almost positive. Looks like a TBM shift. That's exactly... I was saying that as well. Yeah. But how close are we? We're very close. Let me check the old... No, we're still 6 minutes away from it, even though it's probably close enough to be done already. AMBC, thank you very much. Drop a Harley crown logo on the big flat plates down here. So that's the part that's in the bender, or in the Pro Street Bender. Yeah, it's the operator bender. HD bend over. When is the release of the bender? If all goes well, and I feel confident with any of the last changes that I make, it could be in the next couple of days. So that'll be... That's really the only things that I'm wondering on, and then making a decision on how I feel about whether or not I want to, do different parts, or have one side ready to be drilled and one side not, things like that. Before or after the shock pliers? I don't want to talk about shock pliers. I've got myself good with those demerged tools on tube. The one that I have got myself with is this one, the deburr knife. So 3-pointed knife. That's the one that I shish kebabbed my thumb with before nationals in 22. I just buried this thing in my thumb. Ugh. That hurt. So, yeah. No bueno. Yeah. I'm pretty happy with this overall. Getting the... I don't know that this... I'll probably put up a couple of handle designs in case people don't like the grip style that this is. It's not needed, obviously. It's just kind of a fun look. If anything, I could put a logo in the handle. Update on your RC carry-on collab. We'll see. It's... I don't know. We'll see if either that or I'll just change companies. I don't know. sometimes companies are weird to work with. This one obviously is one of those. So do a Hearst tea. Ooh, that would that might be awkward when you got like tube hanging out and you're trying to. needs a bender head on the handle. Yeah, that makes sense. Little you're just kind of like that. It probably wouldn't even be that uncomfortable. Bender has a round head, right? Right? Is this thing on? Hello, Brett. We're discussing my new bender. And that I'm fairly pleased with. Brad Dumont's head? Jack Stancher, you trying to win a TRX? When are you picking? I'm always trying to win, but also their channel is probably just one of my favorite channels. Like entertainment wise, it's one of my favorite channels. So always trying to support. It's Bender Rodriguez. Thank you very much. You could do a 5-panel hat. How was that? I don't even know how that would be a thing. Old Cleater. But I would probably choose the Stumpy TRX just because, although, I mean, it is weird. It is very weird looking. Why not 2 handles instead of mounting? Because mounting it in device is absolutely the best way. It keeps one side steady so that you can then get the tube where you want it, hold your template, make sure that you're bending it to the right spot. Like, you want this mounted to the bit. That's the problem with like a brake line bender where you got 2 handles and it's all funky. Like, no way. This method is, in my opinion, so much better. Like, I have always had my bender mounted in a vise, and then I'm always using both hands to check and look and go from there. So having it hard mounted is the way. I do. See, his channel's logo is Chief Starfish. Make a hard sprint up hand. I feel like I could get in trouble for that. Maybe not. Okay. My trash can is very full. I printed a raft on it. Not totally needed. Okay. So we printed our little jig for our radius. Where'd the strap go that I cleaned up? Get the strap. Are you kidding me? There it is. I got it. Is there enough flat edge to line up? Is there enough flat edge to line up to use as a visual guide in a bender? It's a good question. Need a longer flathead than that. Even if I just go that way. Maybe I might as well put a lock nut on one side. Holy crap, that is so much faster than my Ender 3. That one's still, I guess at this point I've got like a little spoiled by the speed. I'm like, that says 20 minutes to print. Like, oh God, seems like it should take 5. Okay. This is definitely something like I'd want to update this jig to have the support and make sure that I was bending it straight. So, but seems to work fairly well. I'm a little concerned that I didn't give myself enough leeway there. I almost needed to overbend it a little bit more, but that's why we have extras. Because it's not perfectly lining up. But I think I can get away with that. Look, my phone. All right, there you go. Well, I'm glad you tried, and now home and having, you know, can all say hello to Nicole though. Well, so a couple of mods we need to do. Yes, the screw in the way. I thought I'd be able to flex it a little bit more. I don't know that that's going to be the case. Let's see if we can get this flexed enough. Ooh, I might be able to cheat it a little bit though. I'm going to try that. This part of it, like having to adjust this part of the design, that doesn't bother me at all. That actually might work just fine. Let's see how that looks. What printer is that you have? The Bamboo X1 Carbon. Okay. What just came? Feel like I want to adjust that so it overbends it a little bit more, I think. Maybe not. We're about to find out. Already got a lock nut out. That little guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy. What did you trade for your old Bamboo printer? My old printer was a Prusa. I've only had one Bamboo. Matt had he had a couple of Bamboo. He also had the P1. P1S. That ended up working out just fine. bunch of worry about nothing. Almost wondering if I should. What I need to go do now is go get a piece of tube and just see how it fits. But you can see the hoop. I'm just worried that it's maybe a 0.5 millimeter too tight. So if I just shift that a little bit, I feel like it would give me a little bit more wiggle room. Oops, sorry. Move my mouse in the wrong spot. There you go. Is that your design? Something you're going to make available? Yes and yes. Well, that's the plan. Hoping to get it finalized tonight, basically, so I can get it up and available in the next few days. So, but overall, I think we have something that is going to work quite well. I do need to go get some tube so that I can give it a test fit, a couple of bends, things like that. See what it does. The other thing I'm going to wonder is, like, normally you would never do solid rod with a bender with 3D printed dies, but this one is relying on the metal parts instead of 3D printed parts. So I think that it would probably be okay. But I need to test that as well. But we'll see. Overall, though, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's going to do the job quite well. Anneal the rod first. That's so much work. I don't want to have to do that. I just want to be able to throw it in there and just do it. What's your review on the X1? Think about buying one? I mean, any of my friends who ever ask, who are thinking about it, I'm like, you should do it. You should get that one. It's fantastic. I love, grab some tube. Let's test it out. All right, let me run to the garage. Hopefully I have some small pieces. If not, I'm going to cut a couple. I'll cut maybe a stick up on the bandsaw. So, back to our favorite option, which was lo-fi. That was our choice. Back in 3 minutes. Yeah. We're back. What infomercial bullshit is this? Listen, wife, this is actual infomercial. I'm trying to sell some shit over here. I had to cut up a little bit of tubing. But what I don't know is if that is going to clear that anyway. So let's check that first. Oh, it goes through there perfectly. Oh, it feels great in there. But this is my concern. This portion. That is too tight. So we have a couple of options, because all the extra straps that I have made of those are already of a fixed length, obviously, but we have an easy solution. And that is, we just take that strap, we make the holes a little bigger. And go to 9/64. Now this one is of a shape and size that see? Okay. Quick deburr. Ew, fractions. All right, now we shall reassemble. And if that is satisfactory, it should tell me basically the amount that I need to adjust. Okay. Oh, I also have that piece that fell down. Now you should be using a vise. I know. This isn't made yet, and where is mine? Okay, so now we'll make sure that everything is copacetic. It is not. I feel like my tolerances are just too. I have an idea. Be back again. Okay. 3/16 file, chainsaw file. I just want to see if we're just talking. Where am I touching? Mainly just on that follower, or whatever that part's called. The loop. So I think I just need another. Yeah. So yeah, my file's just touching in that section. We're set. Yeah, that was it. Tiniest little bit. Well, that's... So now I'm going to see one thing. I'm going to put a line right here out towards the edge. And I'm going to put that line right at the leading edge of the loop. And with the radius of this, the thickness of the tube, I should have right about 17 millimeters. I made that a little thinner, didn't it? Should be like 16 millimeters or so then, like from the edge of that red line that I made to where the radius actually starts. So what I can do is grab my, it's fine. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to make an estimate at 16. Might have been a little closer to 15, but should be pretty close, if I'm guessing, to where my radius starts. Let's test and find out. If the bender was in advice, it would have. So, all right, right at the edge. Yeah, look at that. So the second red line, see it right there? Basically, right where my radius starts. Yep. Don't forget the tube will pull. The tube will pull on that side. This side, it will not. It will stay the same. So from this side, it's fixed and it'll go with it. So like you can, that's why you can have a very short distance on this side, like stick out wise, and it won't move. Looks pretty good. Compare it to some of the degrees that, yeah, seems to match my bend radii pretty close. Yeah, I'm good with that. Sweet. What is our bend radius, Josh? It's a 1/2 inch to the inside of the tube. So, you know, if you're drawing in CAD, you'll then need to extrapolate to the center line of your tube. You know, like 4.75 divided by 2 plus 13 millimeters or so. And yeah, success. I'm pretty happy there. Let's see how tight we can get a double bend. Well, I probably could have got it tighter, but keeps it stacked pretty close together. Tube cross section looks good. Doesn't look like it's getting crushed. So our bender have any? Of course, I'm just using PLA too with no extra infill. Ideally, like I was saying, I'd print the printed parts out of a nice strong material and do it at 100% infill, which I didn't do for these at all. I just now straighten it back out. Yeah, for that, you just put it back in the tuber the opposite way, the tuber and the bender. Yeah, gets away. Goes fine. No, not as advertised. Well, I am happy with that. I am relying on the ability of people to be able to bend that strap. I think that I will make sure that I include extra straps in the files so that, yeah, just in case people mess up, I think that's the way to go. I include a bunch of those extras, and that'll allow it. So that'll just super easy version. I think it'll work out pretty well, but it makes for hey, look at that, Ty's in here. What's happening, Ty? I don't have the Ty Fab shirt on, but so bender needs a bender before it can bend. Don't worry, it comes with the bender die that you need to bend for the bender, wherever I happen to put it. But I mean, with that, it just makes it as simple as can be. So, well, that experiment is going to work quite well. And I think that I'll be able to get these up available here ASAP. I bet Matt will want his in copper, so it will patina. Yeah. I think that I was a little concerned about aluminum initially, just making sure that it wasn't going to feel like it had any movement or flex, but I don't have any concern of that anymore. So I'll stick with the aluminum for that. It'll keep it cheap. So, and now need to build it for. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I think Matt's going to be fully capable of this. So maybe I'll maybe what I should do is host the bend the handle template for people, and then see how many people come up with their own handle designs of ridiculous stuff, and I'll share those around. Yeah, I think that's gonna. Well, great success there. I'm happy with that. I don't know. I was fairly confident it was going to work as I hoped. I should have probably known that I needed to add more tolerance on that strap, but also a quick little split chainsaw file solves everything. So max bend angle. Legitimate question. So it's definitely not 180, but it's close. That's like $1.75. Right? Somewhere, something like you can tell it's not parallel, but that's real close. 172. Yeah, Ben, I think that's about what I was thinking. And I bet my angle finder is dead. Pretty sure that I remember that it is. And I don't think I have a 2032 in here. Or 2206. So it's smaller, which I definitely don't have. Sorry. That's because of the spring back in the material. Pele, that's a great point. Now measure the radius of that. Let's do it. My calipers are out there. What is in the way here? Hold, please. No lo-fi. So we'll throw her in American mode. Let's try and go as close to our returns as possible. Okay. Got in there. Make sure it zeros. Okay. We're at 0. I'm going to about where I think my, oops. What does it say? Point. I think it said 0.996, but when I bump, either way, 4/10, and I'm eyeballing it to get my point. It's not tenths, 4 thou, the width of a human hair. Is that not the same battery as the angle finder? Could be. No, it's not. It's they use the little ones in the Mitutoyos. So close enough for jazz. I'm a nerd for way more reasons than watching this. Yes, agreed. But I think we got a solid setup there. It'll do almost a 180. I mean, I don't know that I ever need a 180 in this tubing, but it did it without collapsing the tube, which is good. I mean, I'll take that. Let's see. 1865 is what it measures. Let's see what it measures in this part. 180. So it does smash it down a tiny bit, but I guess that's gonna be expected. Not perfect, but I bet that's pretty much the same for anything. Yeah. 1775 on this one. 180. So in there, it's absolutely performing very similar. Will assembled units be available for sale at PLBTF? I mean, in-person sales are the only way that I would do it. Not a bad idea. Smaller mandrels so we can make shock mount hoops. It's a possibility. I designed this with one size to try and keep it as simple as possible since I'm making since the design of the die, the mandrel, is made from laser cut aluminum parts. It would have taken a lot more of those as well. So I don't know if, or at least not on this one. I'm not saying that there might not be more versions, but I'm super pumped about that. I think that is a winner. We gotta come up with a name. That's the next step. Just add options. That's kind of what I was thinking as well. Add some options here or there. A way for you to put do I have it in here? Come up with like a handle design that has the Klein mount in it so that you can, so that it starts flat, and then as you bend, it gives you your angle. Look at you living up to your channel name. Error. Thought that zeroed it. Whatever. The unstraightener. Harley bends a lot. Weren't we talking about a 1/2 inch radius? Yes, we were talking about a 1/2 inch radius. I measured the diameter. So divided by 2. Star bender. Unstraightener. But so yes, when I measured across, I was measuring diameter and I kept saying rate. So anyway, it is still all of the same things. I was just using wrong words. Harley has curved fun. So I got to come up with a quick little bill of materials for guys to buy as far as hardware goes. So make sure you have everything. It's still definitely going to require some tapped holes, starfish kinker. Just call it the Chief Special. Yeah. I tell you, my Schwartz is bent. Every once in a while, stabbed myself. I really thought that went farther down. Will that bend nylon? I have some PTFE here we could check. 1 to 179. I digged how compact it is. Yeah, especially when it's in your bender. It's pretty, or in your vise, bench vise. I mean, you could hold it, but it's not curved. I mean, I think almost a J. J-bent. It likely will not be a very creative name. Tube thingy. It would be easy just to bolt to the bench with L brackets. Yeah, that's kind of the other thing. Like for anybody who wanted it like that, who just wanted to, bolt it on. I feel like you could come up with something. I like the vice plate. It's what I always look like. Looks like the, yeah. Imagine the shot pliers will look like. I keep thinking it looks like the, oh my God, Harley degrees. It's pretty good. That's pretty good. The Tubenda. I keep thinking it looks like the shifter. We'll figure it out. We're getting there. Harley tube glide. Now I'm concerned. Just lame enough to be awesome. Harley bends. Hardly bends. How about? What we should go do is grab a piece of solid rod and just see if I can break it, or see what break, like, because I would not bend solid rod with my other ones. I would not feel comfortable in the end. So the more I keep screwing with the handle, the non-lock nut M4 nuts I have here on the end keep getting loose. And I don't have any M4 lock nuts handy. I mean, it's just wheel nuts, but still. What about tie rod? I have some tie rod too. I mean, I guess if we're going to try and go for broke, we go for broke. Let's see what it'll do. I'm just here for the failure testing without eye protection. All right. I'm going to go grab a piece of titanium and solid steel and see what it does. Why not? You guys get lo-fi again, though. Suck on that. Okay, we're back. So, grab a piece of steel and a piece of titanium. We'll try steel first. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if you guys have bent a lot of solid rod. It takes significantly more. Sorry, it's got bandsaw lashing on the end of it. Ooh. I don't feel like it's bending. I feel like something else is happening. Nope, I felt something. There's very little bend there. And I definitely felt something creak. I don't know what it is, though. It all looks fine. Something definitely felt like it was stretching. Yeah, it definitely got sloppier or something. It still bends tube the same. The mandrel cracked. I think it had to have. It doesn't. I think it's what it, yeah, I think it compressed. Something, it compressed or something in there. Again, probably because I was using PLA and I didn't even increase the infill. So I don't want to do solid rod with it. I would still use a rod bender for that. If someone watched this with no context, they'd be concerned. Probably just your elbow. I am getting old. Infill collapse. Has to be. So yes, I'm going to stand by. This is for tubing. Use tubing. It'll be fine. I'm not going to put the titanium in there. And I'm not going to continue trying to use the steel. I mean, at some point, it's either going to bend or not, right? What else could fail? We're all on the watch list because of this stream. I'm watching and I'm concerned. I mean, definitely don't remember where I was before. We'll just go until it makes a real bad noise, right? Oh, God. What? I don't know. Things are moving or something. Let's just go. Need this in a bench vise. I mean, it bent it, but I sure had a lot more movement than that for how far it bent. Oh, yep. I see exactly what bent. But it's a part that's going to be oh, I see exactly what happened. We shall disassemble. But the part that I can see that broke is a part that is supposed to be laser aluminum anyway. So the second tab we talked about, where this bolts onto, it cracked right there. See it? Which again, and that was just straight up an oversight on my part. I just didn't upload the file and have it cut when I was putting the rest of the files up. No disassemble. The U itself looks fine. Doesn't look stretched. Lower portion. Probably have a little bit. No. I was thinking the lower portion was going to get collapsed too, but it doesn't appear so. It still looks good. So that whole part of it is fine. I feel like this whole thing moved more than it should have, though. So remove the handles first. And that looks fine. Yeah. Couldn't have, I mean, I don't know. I doubt that has any bend to it, but like it could. So I'm guessing day 9 of no paint through that airbrush. Yeah. So outer plate, of course, will be fine. Oh, so since the one plate was not, oh my God, you can take that one out as well. since I was relying all of the strength on this one plate, you see how that whole portion there is like drooped and ripped down, and it's got a big old wedge stress there. And then this part, which should have been laser cut, has a crack straight through it. But this part is also like 3 times as thick as this one is. So there would have been a ton more strength there had they both been the correct material. Would I still choose to do solid rod with it? No. No, I would not. But oh my goodness, I bent the crap out of that screw. A lot of force on that. Okay, serious question. Do you think making this out of stainless would be stronger? Yes, I do. I absolutely do. And I did look at that today. I talked about that a little bit ago. I was a little bit worried about strength, even of just like things like the uprights. But if I intend this to be just for tubing, I actually have no concerns of the stainless, or sorry, of the aluminum like I have here. Stainless would be the other way that I would think about it. But I just don't know that it's needed, especially if it's for tubing only. You have to anneal solid rod so you don't break things. I use the BAC Industries Mighty Rod Bender, and it's no problem at all. But it's just a big breaker bar with 2 solid pins. Like, they're not going anywhere. So that's what I use for solid rod. Like, I can only imagine, even though this was a compromised design, only having that thin piece of aluminum in there, if I would have tried to do anything like that on my previous bender, it would have just exploded. So like in no time would have been useless. So I'm super confident in this. My destructive testing, live destructive testing, probably not a great idea to do usually, but I feel pretty good about it. I don't have many concerns at this point. So, can you just make it available in multiple materials on Send Consent? Yes, I can. The one little areas of things that I worry about is like bending this little U strap out of other materials, and providing a 3D printed jig to bend it over. Like, little concern there. But like if I wanted to just take these center portions and only make those out of stainless, like this, like Al just says, make your failed part out of stainless. Like just make those 2 parts stainless only. That's totally reasonable. That could absolutely be a thing. I don't really have any problem with that at all. So, man, I can even see where the stress was coming through on this plate with only one piece in the middle there. So, I mean, yeah, I could make the whole top mandrel portion out of stainless, leave the rest of it out of aluminum, keep it cheap. So, the infotainment value is awesome. Huzzah on 3. Thank you very much. We'll watch later, but when is upgraded electric mounted to new tool table unique one-of-a-kind files come out? The bender, of course. I think I could have this nailed down very shortly. There's just a couple of little things that I want to do. Technically, these sides, when they're in there, technically they are like rubbing against each other. I don't know if I'm worried about that or if like if I add a millimeter to each side and then use a 3D printed spacer to go in there to help keep things. Granted, 3D prints are going to wear out as well, but they'd be replaceable. Not that you're going to wear out those arms. I don't know. You have to have a part that will fail before everything else, something that is easy to replace. Right. I mean, you can just make the handle break. I forgot that wasn't still bolted on. Wow. Spots for bronze washer. Yeah, if I do it or if I provide like a 3D printed version, then if people want to put in like a proper wear part like that, they could do it. So I think that's a decent idea. And then even if I give them a link like, hey, here's some inexpensive washers you could use if you don't want to use a 3D printed one. Because a lot of people will just be like, I just want to 3D print it and not have to buy extra stuff. Even if it's but if I can find one at Amazon, yeah. Tonight's a win, no blood yet. No. It's a good night. Tonight's a good night. No blood yet. No blood. No blood yet. If you put a bushing and then widen the shoe the same distance. Yeah, absolutely. So have to widen the 3D printed spacer down at the bottom, have to widen the saddle just that little bit as well. And so it's Nicole at the theater. Yeah, just waiting for the ballet to get out so I can go pick her up again. But I think, just a couple of small adjustments like that and be set to go. If I do that, the regular 25 millimeter screw, I don't think we'll have room for a lock nut, so I would stay with the threaded design, but that's fine. I'll have to put together a hardware list to let people know what to buy and be set. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So I don't know how many people actually need a bender, but they have been hard to get in the past. So hopefully we can bring some improvement to that area for when people do. And that's a nice thing about this whole send cut send thing is that they're just produced when people order. So it doesn't it's no big deal. I don't have to worry about how many people need it. What you could do is offer 2 kits, one complete and then one with the handle pieces that could, or is that, sorry. What you could do is offer 2 kits, one complete and then one with the handle pieces that could wear enough to replace. True. Well, I guess the other thing is like, I'm not really, I guess I could just be giving you the files, but people have a hard enough time understanding what files. So like, I don't know. Try and make it simple enough, but not. You gotta be careful. People can be easily confused. This was fantastic. I'm so pleased with tonight's results that I don't really have much of a problem making some simple edits and getting it up for sale ASAP. What is the advantage of using solid rod over tubing to build a cage? Solid rod it's cheaper. Solid rod is much less expensive and easier to find. It technically would be stronger, but it's going to be heavy. It's harder to weld. Takes more effort to notch. Um, well, harder to weld is actually, it's not totally true, because it, depending on what method you use, it can take, it can be more forgiving in some ways. So there's pros and cons, but generally, if I'm building a chassis that I am interested in performance with, I would like to use tubing. Oh, George, thank you, GC Coop. I need this bender. All my builds have been solid rod because I couldn't find a tube bender. Well, that's a great example. And George, you've done a number of builds already. So, yeah. Yeah. I'll get this available right away. Will this be usable with linear servos? You know what? I wonder how much servo it would take. That's a really long throw, because it goes to like 100. Wait, so it goes from here to basically here. That's a long throw. I don't know. That would be. I needed another clue. I clearly don't have enough tools. And when you get to build the tool yourself, it's even more rewarding. For what it's for, it will be great. Night all. Thanks again, 949 for the get. Hey, glad to have you here. There's a ton of extra member videos to catch up on if you're a new member. So go check those out. There's like 26 or 7. Some of them are long. Some of them are quite long. I bought a tube bender yesterday for 6, 8, and 10 millimeter tubes for about $15. Oh, that's probably like a brake line bender that's got the different tube diameters stacked next to each other. That's the most common. And this doesn't work well for brake line for brake line style, because of the flares and the nuts that have to go on hard brake line. And that's the biggest thing. But at the same time, we usually like these styles a little bit more just because of how repeatable they are with the start points and things like that. Where brake line benders, how they have that double hinge style design, and they're usually, the radius is larger than what I usually prefer for builds. But yeah, a brake line bender like that style is the most common for what people use when they can't find a bender that's more, specialized. Let's see. I have a 120-inch Snap-on Epic, and it's almost full. Telling you what, my 54-inch now. I got the side drawers for it. I haven't got the side box yet. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. It's the last piece of that puzzle that I'm looking for. But I'm really liking it. It is it takes up a lot more space. I need to get rid of the table that the idea was to get rid of. Thomas, yeah, thank you so much for becoming a member. I have a jawbreaker bender from 10 years ago. I remember those. That guy's name was Shannon, who made those. Shannon something with a P. Purdy, something. I can't remember. Did I miss the first tube get bent? Yes, you did. And now I've disassembled it after I tried to do some destructive testing with some solid steel rod. But shanking. So, but overall, great success, and I'm looking forward to it. Next, Trucks of Fortune Starfish is the new color for the wheels. I'm gonna have to work in some Easter eggs into the tape design that I do for the next one. Josh, do you have a file on your page for a dig unit servo mount for a carbon? Ooh. I don't. Yeah. I needed some. Well, we're happy to have you for that. You can laugh in the members video about me cutting myself into the new toolbox that I bought when the locks didn't work. Chief should have a wheel line. Before tonight, I had no idea. I had no idea about tube benders. Now I must have one. You know, who would have guessed that I could sit here and talk for 2.5 hours about a silly tube bender? The Sucky Chief line of wheels will sell out in no time. This could just be the chief bender, chief tube bender. Do you happen to have a spare VFD transfer cell? I do not. I keep transmissions and things like that around, but I don't sell parts like that. So the only time I really sell things is when I sell a whole truck or at a local swap meet. That's about it. Other than that, I don't do much of the selling. Damn, I have to get up early. I'm out. Night, Josh and Starf. Good night. I'll probably cut this one off before too long. Or I guess I was going to tear down the Buggy so that I could get it painted in the morning. Yeah, well, let's do that. We'll just talk while I wrench on that Buggy. I guess these parts are still good. Am I going to change any of those? No. I'm only going to change the printed stuff. And I guess, yeah, I'm only changing a few little things. None of that stuff is bad. Sweet. Of course, no, we're good. Excellent news. Now we got to make some room, though, because I've created a disaster. But it was in the name of science. Make a bend tool to build the bend. Right. Move. A little more cleanup, and we'll be done. You have to increase the size of that hole. That's fine. This desk is still an absolute disaster, and I should flip this tire around. So we'll keep that one aside. I'll take the rest off. Just snagged a Tie Pro MJ43 slider for steel. Guess I'll have a WRC truck by the fire after all. Excellent. More tube buggies, the better. Yeah, do that. What's wrong? I know. The backwards tire was an issue. Harley Science, I have a promotional op for you. Holding my breath. Greetings from Costa Rica. Checkered past. You want yourself a little vacay? How difficult is designing, printing your own rig on a 3D printer? I'm gonna buy one to convince my wife it was worth it. So the the designing is where all the work comes in. That's really it. It's all of the hard work is in designing. And it takes a long time to get to the point where, you know, you're fully capable of doing what you want, but it's just a commitment thing. The longer you do it, the better and better you'll get, and it just keeps going. It never stops. So it's absolutely worth it. It's a life skill that, I mean, yeah, it's handy for RC cars, but that's the tip of the iceberg, basically. I mean, you can use it for freaking everything. So pull the shocks off as well. Are those the raw wheels? Maybe. I'm going to buy and print other people's designs. I'm lazy like that. See, that's absolutely the, you know, like when you get a printer for the first time, if you don't have any of that the other side, like that's what you're going to do. You're going to get it and you're going to get other designs and you're going to 3D print them. And, you know, the number of designs available just grows and grows and grows every day. So, you know, I put stuff out, tons, you know, Night Customs, tons of designers all over are capitalizing on the fact that 3D printers are in all kinds of people's houses now. So the effort that we put into files can be super easily distributed, which is awesome for me. So getting a 3D printer is something I absolutely suggest. And then learn CAD, and it will change so many things you can do in your whole life. Forget just talking about RC, in everything. STL Sunday, yep. Okay. I've got a little 1 millimeter spacer with each of these shocks. So I'm trying to make sure that Josh, what's your opinion of selling prints versus files? So, you know, like I sell files, and it's for a number of reasons. One, I don't want to print and ship things. I don't have time. I can take and try and recoup my investment on the design time by selling the files. But at the same time, I then also, you know, when you put files out there and someone buys it, like they can print it, they can just give it to a friend, they can upload it somewhere like that. Then people either, I've had people buy my files, re-upload them on Colts 3D and charge more than I charge. Like I keep my files super cheap, like $2 for stuff. Like, you know, $3 for this or $4 for like most stuff is. I remember I put up the Porsche engine from this, and it was like $7. I'm like, I'm putting this up for like $6.99 because I have 120 hours in this thing. So, what YouTube channel do you recommend for learning Fusion 360? I think that Lars Christensen is still the one that I think of. He's not the one that I use personally, but I think he's best for like a lot of the just, you know, learning initially basic stuff. The guy that I watch the most is, I think it's called like Learn Everything About Design. have to go back, and he's got like, he doesn't have a ton of followers, like 50,000. But he does great videos. Let me just see if I can find him, because if I can, in my subscriptions quick, then I think that, you know, I would, it's the least I could do for how good his videos are and how much he does. Let's see. Why does YouTube make it so difficult to just get the list of channels you're subscribed to? It didn't used to be. There it is. Subscriptions, show more. It is, wow, he has not put a video out in a while. Just keep going down. Wow. I know I'm subscribed to him. Did I just go past it? I'm sorry. This is terrible video. Let's see. Or is it just not listing it for me? Well, F, learn. Wow. Okay. I don't see it. That's unfortunate. Anyway, but I use him because he does like a lot of great videos on some of the advanced tools that are super hard to fully understand. And there's like some things that are just super helpful. Okay. Pull the brazen skid out. I'm gonna pull the upper links off too, which is a bit more difficult. My 2.0 ball end MIP. Not everything can be easy in here. Freaking moon buggies. Okay, there we go. Couple more, and I can have this thing ready for paint in no time. $949 again. Do you have files built for the TRX6 build available? I bought one. We did that years ago. The Go Fast build. I don't. I could look at. I don't even remember. Like, I don't remember how much of that I did 3D print versus CNC. Not that it couldn't be done in. That was a while ago. I think I did a lot of CNC with like small 3D printed brackets to hold. That thing is, it's right up above my head there. It was still one of my favorites. All right, let's pull this out of here. Okay. In the box. Done. All right, we'll pull the motor plate off, and then I'll be able to have it ready for paint in the morning. It was, right? Oh God, I just had so much fun with that thing. Do you have an entry tug welder? Well, I knew this girl in high school. No, I'm kidding. The TIG welder that, yes, I did a video on one a couple of weeks ago called the Yes Welder 205P Pro. And it's like $211. And that's what I built this whole truck with here. And honestly, it works as well as my welder that costs 4 times as much. And it's great. I'm so surprised. I changed the torch head on it and I put a foot pedal on it, and that's it. And it's great. Honestly, I didn't feel any difference welding this whole project up versus one with my other welder. So like, I cannot complain in the slightest. Find that last video I did, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I go through my settings and everything, like what I recommend, what I use, the whole thing. By the way, how's your ankle these days? Always wrecked. It stays wrecked. And so no concerns there. Don't worry about it getting better. Riding it out till I got to. Wait, are you painting this with the new airbrush? Nah, this doesn't seem like an airbrush job. This seems like a rattle can job. But, well, this has definitely been the most productive stream that I've had in quite some time. So I'm stoked about that. When I did these, I did all the motor plates in the same steel. I feel like when I'm ordering the next round of bender stuff, I should have this made out of aluminum, because it's heavy for no real reason. Where do you get your tube? I've resorted to steel rod because I can't find tubing. Stockcarsteel.com. And they relisted where the DOM tubing is found. It used to be under DOM. Now it's under hydraulic tubing. I think that I linked to it on my website on the page for this. And also, there's a code. It's, I can't remember if it's Harley 2415 or Harley Designs 2415. But it'll give you 15% off of the tube. In the initial video where I talked about this build along, I went through and I included links to where you could find all that stuff as well. So that should get you through everything, and it should find exactly what you need. I hate you had to waste one time you used that airbrush on it. Hate for you to waste. Bro's been on for 3 hours. Almost. That's pretty normal, though. Start over, please. You just got. Can I buy the frame from you? Nope. I don't want to sell it, even though it's just like the one that I already have. It's right here. So even though I got to put this one back together too, but still no. Because I just need 2 of them. And, doing the build along stuff, it's, it's been great just because normally I have to build a truck, make the content, and then basically sell the truck to try and pay for the content, try and make it all make sense. So that's usually, I just sell it off. But with the build along, able to sell stuff, sell into it, so that I could basically recoup all that, and I get to keep my truck. Like, I like that part. And now I'm like, I don't feel like I need or even want to sell it. I want to have one because so many other people built them as well. Like, I feel like I should also have 1 or 2 so that I can always, have one when those people are around. I don't know. I like it. What would you recommend? The Axial Basecamp Builders or the Optic H10? I mean, it's going to be a lot of a style choice for you, like what one you want. If you get the Basecamp Builders, you got to what you want it to look like, you're still choosing. What? No. This is unfathomable. That I can't get used to RideWorks being buck dandy. It's going to take so much getting used to. My whole world is on its head. Trying to get all professional over there. Because if you guys didn't know who RideWorks, Buck Dandy, he's making some YouTube videos now from his shop, making real cars, full-size cars. So trying to be professional. Who would have guessed it? From Dr. President Legend Buck Dandy. Can we see the new robot crawler? Sure. Let's grab it. It's kind of new. It's kind of the oldest one. The Hacklack was one of my favorite builds of yours. Brought kind of nice rig. He did get a nice rig. I'm glad that he owns it. I'm glad that I got to see it again the other day at Axial Fest. So doesn't have a body mount on it yet, but underneath, so this was done by Tom Havel, who I had sent most of these parts to like 5 years ago or so. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care. Whenever you build it, it's fine. That's what we got. So it's a chassis, which I can't remember which one. I wish if Tom was here, he could let us know that. It's got the like the custom super lightweight tubed axles with the 3D printed center section. So 3D printed link mounts, shock mounts on the aluminum tube. AR60 front with the shaved and narrowed 3D printed center section to get it all super high clearance like. Makes it pretty nice. You shave the whole housing, then you put this new style diff cover on to get it all in there. Servo tucked right behind, Castle BEC 2.0. 3D printed link mounts as well. AR60 steering knuckles, high steered. Vanquish SLW wheels, 2.2s, some Ibex from Proline. Foams, I believe, a Crawler Innovation. 3-gear Vanquish trans. And Holmes brushed motor, which I'm not sure if this is it's a custom Pro 540. Yeah. But super tight, super lightweight, and pretty rad. So I got to put a body mount on it, do a couple of other little things, but Prolot or J Concepts. This was J Concepts. What was this body called? Something with a P. I don't remember. When are you going to drive that thing for real? Sometime. But yes, I like that. What is that? What's that body called? The J Concept. It's not the crowd pleaser. It was the bless it. I can't remember. Oh, I do have to fix this tire. It's a shelf queen. Shut it. I don't need your negativity. Pneumonia starts with a P. Tucked? No, this is much older than that. How many shelf queens you got there? It depends on what you're talking about. Cars that have never been driven. There's a Tamiya Bug and a Tamiya Hoonigan model that Matt built. That's not done, so that doesn't count as a shop or shelf queen yet, because it has to be finished first. Stage Killer, was that which one it was? No, that's the more recent one, wasn't it? I don't know. Yes. That one isn't finished yet, so it doesn't count yet. So I'll say 2 that you can see here. Not saying that there's not more, but not negativity, just stating facts. Spitting straight facts. Okay. Flip it for real. Stretching 1/9s on 2/2s. Not that difficult, but does take a little bit of concentration. J Concepts pissed wife. Make sure. There we go. I think we're set. Video blackout? The what? Shouldn't have. You're putting 1.9s on 2.2s again? I am. Good. Video blacked out for a couple seconds. Really? Interesting. I don't like that idea. What are some good tires for a desert on a crawl? I mean, still on rocks, right? Just deserty rocks. Huh. Okay. Must have hit your time limit. Yeah, I was getting a light. We're 7 minutes from 3 hours. You could tell it was black by the way it was. The sidewall bulge bothers me when I stretch 1/9s on 2/2s. I know what you mean typically, but with the 0.8s, you don't get much. You don't get much of that bulge. It looks more, it looks more proper. So it's pretty good. I guess I don't need to put them on. I just wait until it's all done. Josh, it's not fair that you get raw 1.9 wheels. The only way to get the wheels is like Josh and be high up. Stop putting those fancy wheels in our face. Well, we have what do we have? 6 minutes left. You can get your last questions, comments. I'm going to try and get the Bender stuff done tonight. I'm going to try and order myself a new one with the last of the revisions, but I feel pretty confident that I won't have any troubles. Even if it was just like it was already, I was fine. Wait, we're supposed to cook our wheels? They come pre-cooked, typically. I am just on the carnivore diet. Raw? No, carnivore's not raw. I don't know. Naked and Afraid. Are you going to the next Scale Challenge West? I don't know when it is, but I would usually be up to going if I know when. When did you get your bendy tube machine? I got the sample files or sample cuts in today. So that's why I was assembling it tonight. But I'm hoping that it is available to purchase by Tuesday. Special teams, special players. How much tube to order for the jimmies? What did I say in the video? 12 feet? I think I said 12 feet. But order 20. Just order 20 so that you have stuff for the next time and everything too. What tires do you run? I run a bunch of tires, but this is the first time I picked up the new ProLine Trepadors, 1.9 Treps, and these are 4.9 inches tall. So fairly close to the size of the Vanquish 475s. You know, 12 feet is what I said. Okay, that's what I thought. 12 feet, 12 feet, 12 feet, but order 20 to be safe, I think you said. At least I'm consistent. I finally talked to my local op shop and become a Vanquish dealer. She was sold on seeing the HD44s and wheels in person. That's good. Where at? Where's the shop at? Any idea when the next monthly mayhem will happen? I don't for sure. It's all because of Matt. That's always so picky. I'm ready to go tomorrow. Give me a deadline tomorrow. Let's do this. Josh, what is your preferred Vanquish factory tire? The Yokohama. The Yokohama MTs, 475 MTs. They're fantastic. How close to what, Ben? What filament and infill would you use to print the VFD adapter for a 10.3? PETG or ABS, ASA, and infill 100%. I would do like 4 or 5 outside loops or shells, depending on what your printer calls them, with like 7 top and bottom layers, and then 100% infill. Is there a VXT laying around? I don't think so. I bet I'm probably in my wheel box, but that would be beyond ridiculous to pull out right now. So, Litchfield, Illinois, Lindsay's Hobby Shop. She is filling out the info tomorrow. Nice. You definitely get that taken care of for her. What brand is better, ProLine or J Concepts? I wouldn't say one is better or worse. I think ProLine definitely has the upper hand on licensed tires. And I like their G8 compound a lot, but J Concepts, like the Ruptures, those things are killer tires in the green compound, I believe. And I mean, they do fantastic. The Tusks also work really well. So it just kind of depends. Hey, Frank, just checking in. We tested the new bender tonight, Frank, and it worked fantastic. We did some destructive testing even. J Concepts Tusks rock. They do. They're a great tire. They work great in our comp series as well. Pink Dot Rovers. Yeah. Will Brandon's front dig work with the rear dig installed too? Yes. Yeah, the rear digs are, I think we usually call them flipped. So the one that's in place from the factory, that's front dig, because you lock the rear tires and you're spinning the fronts, like the fronts are digging in. So that's front dig. And then the rear dig is the new piece that goes in. And then you're spinning the rears. Therefore, like the rears are digging in. Rear dig. So that's how that's generally. But yes, like my Buggy has got front and rear dig. The new Buggy has front and rear dig. And so, are you going to sell your MK07 or mod it more? I don't know. Currently, it's sitting. I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to mod anything like that, it's going to be an SCX6. I feel like the MK07 is interesting, but not interesting enough or different enough than the SCX6 to make me really get into it. Yeah. Can you use a standard VFD with a dig unit in the Jimmy's Buggy? So I don't currently have a skid file up for that, but I should, because it's totally, yes, it's a very reasonable thing otherwise. So you should be able to, and I just need to get a skid done for it. What did you find in the pallets at the shop? I've not done it yet. It was we were hoping to start diving into the move this week. Didn't happen this week. It may start happening next week, but by the time I get a bunch of contracting done, and I've got a new electrical plan, I've got networking to handle, I've got a bunch of stuff to, new tables and desks and things like that. Then I'm going to be looking for possibly another customer service person. So I got to start looking for that as well. And as all part of it, I've got to pull my pallets of shit down and start going through. By the time I actually pull the pallets down, it will be after I get a ton of this other side of the work done. VIN tags before more skids. That is 100% true. You're moving shops? Oh man, no. Got another unit, and I'm only moving one portion of. So like I'm taking the area that is the current website, what we call it. Like that room is inventory, finished product, ready to go, and moving it to this new building, which is connected to our others. But it's like 3 times the size of our current spot, so that I have room to organize and grow into that a little bit more. Was Phoenix Shipper's approach to buy Lunsford. So we knew one of the people who was there kind of running it at the time, and it was not something that we were interested in. But as far as like, was it actually approached as a purchasing situation? No. And so, but yeah, it just wasn't a business that we were interested in managing. It's the turnbuckle industry, like every new kit going through, just have the machines for it. But Scott Hughes was managing it, and Scott has been friends with Brandon for a real long time. Expanding, that's a whole lot better. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Customer service position on site. Yes, I need it's a kind of a combination type thing that, yeah. So another position that I've got to look at filling. Fun stuff as always, but it is 9:04. 3 hours and 4 minutes we've been on this stream already. Much appreciated to everybody that hung out. I'm going to get back to work on the final tweaks of this before I forget anything that I wanted to do, and that's going to do it. So thanks everybody. It was a good night. Appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good weekend. Members, this Sunday live stream, I'll get some stuff posted up on that before too long. Have fun. See you guys later.